Hey everybody, this is Steve Haverly. Let's talk about our marriages and build it up today. You want to? I do. So let's talk about options. Okay. So what do I mean by options? Well, one of the reasons why I think that the divorce rate is so out of control in today's environment, whether it's in the Christian world or in the secular world, it doesn't seem to matter anymore. The divorce rate is 50% or slightly higher, which is just, it's a tragedy. It really is a tragedy. I feel like it is. Because I feel like so many of these marriages with the correct information, the correct mindset, the correct attitude could be corrected. And there's so much there that could be salvaged and could be built up and could be improved. And I really believe that most of us have no idea how good our marriages could be. And we just don't... we don't have the goal in our mind. We don't have the vision for it. So that's what we're here to try to do today and help you to do, is get that vision for how good your marriage can be. And one of the things that I think we need to adopt, the philosophy that we need to adopt, is to put away other options. Now, what do I mean by put away other options in our marriage? Well, if you consider divorce as always being an option on the table, then you'll never get very far away from going all in with your marriage. You'll never leave that option too far. You'll always want to be able to run back to it. You see what I mean? I heard a man teach about a sermon called "Burn Your Plow." Now, what am I talking about there? Well, if you go back to the scripture and look at the prophet Elijah, when he came upon a man named Elisha, which was to be his successor to his role as prophet. One thing that Elisha did, well, he was a farmer, and he had oxen and a plow and farming equipment. And the last thing he did before he went off to be with Elijah for the rest of Elijah's life was he burnt the equipment that he used. He burnt the wood of his plow. And you see what I'm talking about is he didn't have anything to be able to go back to. He burned his plow. And that's what we need to do when it comes to the options of being able to go back to our, well, I can go back and be single again. It would be just fine. We'll get a divorce and we'll go our separate ways and I'll start over and everything will be fine. If you always keep that on the table, then you always will stay fairly close to that option. You'll never go completely away from the option of being able to divorce. And what I'm trying to get at today is we need to burn our plow of divorce. But I could always go back to being single again. I could always get out of this marriage and we could go back to the way it was. If we don't burn that plow of divorce and get away from it and go on and say, I'm going in this direction, I'm going forward with my mate, I'm going forward with my spouse in our marriage and grow it and build it and make it better and better and better every single day. If we don't do that, we'll always be looking back at where we came from and say, well, I could always go back there. We need to burn that. We need to burn that down and get rid of it. It's like a bridge you cross. You burn it, you can't go back over it. So it's just something for you to think about today. What kind of options are you hanging on to? If you're having difficulty in your marriage, are you still considering the fact that I don't have to be married anymore? You'll never build the marriage that'll make you happier than you've ever dreamed of if you're always able to look back and say, well, I could go back to that. I could go back to being a farmer again if I wanted to. So, I want you to commit today to burn that plow. Okay? Get rid of what the options are of getting out of your marriage and start focusing on how great I can make my marriage today. Seek and learn information that can make your marriage better and better and better every day. You don't have to make it great overnight, but little by little is how you get there. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And how do you eat an elephant? The old proverb is you eat an elephant one bite at a time. You can't think about the whole project. Just take one little baby step here and there, and before you know it, you'll be where you want to be, and your marriage will be better than you ever dreamed it will be. This is Steve Haverly. Let's make our marriages great today, okay?